Hello, my name is Jacob Jones, and welcome to WYBNOO, or What You've Been Nerding Out On. Today, I am joined by Alec Bobko.
Yep.
Did I say it right? Who's really into football and especially the Detroit Lions. So let's get straight into his introduction. Who are you? Where do you come from? And what do you do?
Yeah, so my name's Alec Bobko, and I've been taking a bit of a break from content creation, but I still kind of dabble in it every once in a while. From Grand Rapids, Michigan, and yeah, lived here my entire life. And I work as a steel truss designer, basically using AutoCAD, drawing
Oh,
roof
nice.
structures for people. Great. So,
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I work. I'm an accountant for Ron Winchell, and that's we have like a lot of gambling halls and stuff under his name,
ah,
Jackpot Jonies. And there is like a dude who does like a lot of CAD work because they're always expanding and
mhm,
stuff. And he was just really
yep.
nerding out about all that the CAD software and like which ones are good. And he's all complaining about subscription fees and shit.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's everything. Like those kind of programs nowadays, everything's a subscription.
Yeah, it feels that way. That's why I'm like, I'm not gonna buy into the Adobe ecosystem. Okay,
Yep.
I have
DaVinci
Photopea.
Resolve, Affinity.
Yeah, I
Uh,
have DaVinci Resolve.
uh, yep.
I try to use. I used to
Because
use GIMP, but like Photopea like works pretty well. For
yeah,
a
I would
free resource.
recommend. It's paid, but it's only a one-time license fee. It's called Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer.
Nice.
Photo is basically Photoshop, and then Designer is kind of like the vector design stuff. So,
Okay, yeah, I'll
but
look into
it's
that.
I'll say on sale you can usually get them for like $50 each.
That's not bad. And you have the
Yeah.
license forever. Yeah. These days, like they
Yep.
don't let you do that. They're like Microsoft Office. It's a subscription, bitch, and I
Yep.
hate that.
That's why I use the Google stuff now.
Same. Google Sheets, Google Docs, baby.
Yep.
Um,
That's where my
you're
notes are typed in today.
awesome. Yeah, I'm using Notepad. Yeah, I no, I mean I constantly use Sheets for like spreadsheets and stuff. Especially
Hmm.
like trying to organize people. Steam Next Fest is next week, and I make a big
Ooh,
spreadsheet of
yeah.
demos, and I like rank them like their weapon rarities in video games,
Oh,
to like
nice.
which ones look like really worth trying. But I digress. That's next week, people. Remember
Hmm.
Neon Gaming Dimension. Look it up. That's where I'll be posting them videos. But hey, we're talking about football today, so let's talk about the
Hmm.
Detroit Lions. Hit me with it.
Yeah, so I've been a fan basically my entire life as long as I can remember because my dad has been a lifelong fan. So just one of those things just kind of rubbed off on me and uh yeah, haven't looked back ever since. Just because that's the way I was born and raised. And
Yeah.
one thing that's actually really cool is that when I was born, my dad he actually wrote the coach at the time, which is Wayne Fontes. I believe that's how you pronounce the name. Um, he actually wrote him a letter, and then he actually responded back and wrote him back. So I'm pretty sure my dad has that letter framed somewhere in the house.
Wow, nice. Is it this guy? Let's see if I have the right window. Nope, wrong window. This guy?
Yeah. Yep.
Ha, nice.
Yeah, he was the coach in '94 when I was born.
Wow, this guy looked like he didn't put up with no bullshit.
Right.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah.
There's a signed
Yep.
photo right there.
Yep.
Nice. That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't have anything signed like by anyone. I don't think anywhere. You know,
Hmm.
I like, man, like a Sam Raimi signature would be
Oh,
tight.
right. That'd be cool.
Like a Getty Lee signature would be insane, right?
Yep. Yep.
I could name all sorts of signatures.
Oh, for
Who
sure.
knows? Who knows? If I'll ever get that. It's just like collecting stuff. That's a whole other thing, right? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, that's a whole other nerding out thing.
it really is. Yeah. I mean, we probably will get a little into that today with your fandom. I'm sure you have some stuff, right? Like maybe.
Not as much as my dad does. Like he literally has like an
Okay.
entire cabinet that's just full of stuff. Like anything that has a Lions logo on it, he's probably got it.
Oh, nice. You're like, it's like it was a telephone from 1995 in the shape
Right? Yeah.
of the lion logo, and you open it
Or
like a
like there was one
clamshell.
time Yeah, there was one time where it was like I think the Gatorade was doing a promotion where they had a bunch of the NFL logos on there. So he got the Gatorade. He'd never opened it, so it's just an unopened Gatorade with the Lions
Wow.
logo on it, sitting in the basement.
Have you ever heard of LA
Um,
Beast on YouTube?
the name sounds familiar.
So for one of my other podcasts, Odd Valley Tavern, where we get shit faced and like do a topic,
Mhm.
if we start sober and get really drunk by the end, and it's crazy. We actually covered like competitive eaters, and I learned about this guy named
Mhm.
LA Beast, and he just does
Mhm.
like it's less about like how much he can eat and more of like fucked up shit he can eat. Like he got
Yeah.
like a set of the most sour candy in the world and like finished all of them back to back, which was like
Oh,
a really
jeez.
bad idea. He tried water from a can from like World War II once.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Ugh.
So like again,
Right.
right. I wonder what's going on with that Gatorade. Like what kind of
Yeah.
decay has
I don't remember what
occurred?
flavor it is, but yeah, he's got like a Tostitos bag that's in there that has Lions logo on it. Like I said, he's got a bunch of
That's tight.
everything.
That's tight. I mean,
Yeah.
unopened Tostitos?
I'm pretty sure.
Are the like what are the chips? Can you see inside? Like what do they look like? Do they still
I
look
don't remember.
normal?
They still look normal,
Okay.
yeah, as far as I can
I'm
tell.
gonna
Or
need
remember, I should say.
I'm gonna need photographic evidence of this because
I'm
I'm now
actually going to
really
my parents
curious.
tomorrow, so
Okay, I
I
just
should
need
be
a
able to get you
picture
one.
of these unopened things and like what the
Yeah.
state of the of
Yep.
the contents are at because that's excellent.
Yep.
No, that's cool though. Like I had Loot Crate for a minute, and one of
Oh,
the
same, yeah.
items was yeah we all did right. It was a good time.
Yeah.
One of the months was a Red Bull that had Ninja on it. Uh,
Oh,
I drank
yeah.
that shit, but I'm like, I'm just keeping the can. So it's, I think I even
Yep.
smashed it and I just have it somewhere.
Yeah, I've got
I don't care
Bud
about
Light,
it.
one of the aluminum pints that has the Lions logo on it over on my little collectible shelf.
Nice. Yeah, that's like when they did the Phantom Menace, like, they had the Coke cans and stuff. There's always
Yep.
something. Or like Snickers, where they had just people's names on it.
Yeah, or like the
Yeah.
Coke bottles. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Coke bottles too. Um,
Never have my
actually,
name. They
yeah, I
have
mean,
Alex, they have Alan. It's like it's just one letter off. Like, come on,
yeah.
come on.
Well, you just gotta like rub off the other part of the X, and it sort of it'll look like
Right.
a greater than sign. You're like, that's a C.
Yeah.
um, so generational fandom. That's something in Las Vegas that is just barely starting to happen. As you can see, I am not wearing any football gear, but I have a Golden Knights hat on,
Hmm.
and I have a Golden Knights jersey. Right. So I just felt
Nice.
like this is the sports thing that I have
Oh
in my
yeah.
possession. But we haven't had any like actual pro teams here since the Knights, and when the Knights came out, it was a
Hmm.
brand new franchise. So that's starting to happen now because like millennials will be having
Hmm.
kids and they're Knights fans, and
Yeah.
I'm seeing these kids wearing Knights gear. And like now we have like kids ice skating around and learning how to do hockey in this town because we have the Knights here, so I'm stoked
Hmm.
to see like there's that generational fandom. It's like a family tradition thing, and I'm just glad that like my city is finally kind of being able to do that. I don't know about
For
the other
sure.
sports. They just want to like dump every Oakland team here, and then we're not like connecting with it. We do like if you were a Raiders fan before, which there was a lot in Vegas, okay,
Hmm.
then sure, it's awesome. Raiders are in Vegas, but like, there's no one. Like, we're not like, oh, go Raiders. Like, I'll just if they're
Yeah.
playing, I'll root for them maybe. But we're like, there's no connection there. But like, it's totally different with you.
Yep.
It's your whole family being a Detroit Lions fan. I mean, you're from,
Yep.
so it's interesting that you're Detroit's Lions fan. You're from Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so Grand Rapids, where I'm at, is basically on the western side of the state, and Detroit's on the eastern side. So, but that's being in Michigan, that's like the only football team that really, or we're in that market. So,
Right. True.
that's like basically the football team we get.
Okay. Nice.
So that's part of the reason. I think that why my dad's a Lions fan. I mean, obviously just the Michigan team as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that makes sense. That's right. Yeah, I forget. I always so I'm from Southern Nevada, and like basically
Uh-huh.
the rest of the country is just one blob. Like you're like, yeah, fucking New
Yep.
Jersey's right next to I don't know what
Yep.
Oklahoma. Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah. So Michigan, obviously Detroit's in Michigan. So yeah, that's in case you're
Yep.
wondering, guys. Wisconsin is another state, and they get really mad when you mix that up in your brain
Yes, because
all the time.
Wisconsin, for whatever reason, but I'm not kidding. Like Wisconsin, for whatever reason, a few years ago, started calling themselves the Mitten State. I'm like, you're kidding me, right?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Like,
They're the
have you looked at your
cheeseheads.
state? Right. Yeah. But like, it was funny. Somebody like drew like an oven mitt in the shape of Wisconsin and one in the shape of Michigan. It's like, which one's actually a mitten? Like,
There you go. Well, I mean, I don't know the shape of like either state. Does Michigan look more like a mitten? It's more of a
yes, it literally like when we like in Michigan, they say, "Oh, where are you from?" "Oh, yeah, I'm in this town." It's kind of like here. Like
yeah,
you literally point at your hand and like at least in the lower peninsula, it's like
nice. That's cool.
yeah,
Nevada is just like
yeah,
one of these.
yep. I was at Vegas when I
I don't know.
was fourth grade. I want to say something like that.
Oh yeah, you came to Vegas.
Yeah, I
Where'd
had
you
an
stay?
aunt and a cousin. Bally's, I believe it was.
Oh, okay, okay. Usually, like most kids who went to Vegas back in the day were like, "Oh, we stayed at Circus Circus because it was always the
Yeah.
fun." It's really ghetto now,
Yep.
like it's really run down.
Oh, I
But
bet.
back in the day, like '90s, 2000s, it was all about
Hmm.
that because they have like it's like fuck, I forget, I can't remember the name of it, but they have like a theme park almost in
Cirque du
there.
Soleil or
No,
whatever.
it's almost like
Or-
just a straight up theme park with roller coasters and
oh
stuff
wow.
attached to it. Or they did. I don't know if
Oh,
it's still
okay.
there. I really don't. I don't. We don't make it. We don't go down to the strip much.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
It's like if you
It's
live
probably
in New
about
York,
3 times the price.
yeah, no thanks. There's good restaurants down there you want to go to, of course,
Hmm.
but like there's also really good restaurants everywhere. You know,
Hmm.
I've
Yep.
never been to Detroit. Um, but I know that there's like a Detroit style pizza. Am I wrong?
Yeah, so I don't know if you ever heard of the franchise Jets Pizza,
No, I'm gonna look it up now. But continue.
but basically it's a thicker style of pizza, kind of like not quite like Chicago style pizza, but basically the reason why it's called Detroit style is it was served in these deep dish pans that are like
Mm,
squares or rectangles, and yeah, like that. Yeah, there's it's so good. It is so good. It's just that right amount of
yum.
like fluffiness, but you also get a nice crispy crunch to it.
Yes. Oh yeah, it's
It
almost
is
like
so good.
eating on bread, almost like pizza on bread.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we have some pizza places that are sort of like that. Naked City's pizza is kind of like that. Uh,
Mhm.
if you ever make it down here again, that's some pretty good pizza, and it's kind of like Detroit style, I think. Definitely
Mhm.
different from Chicago style. That's like
Oh yeah.
a whole
Yeah.
other.
Lasagna, basically.
Yeah, it's mostly sauce. Yeah, for sure. A whole other
Yeah.
ballgame. But
Yep.
yeah, so that's a little bit about living in a city, right? I mean,
Hmm.
food and I don't know, sports teams. You've gone to
Yep.
games? You've been to games?
Oh yeah. When I was younger, we used to go to the Thanksgiving Day game every year. I can technically say I don't remember it, but I can technically say I've seen Barry Sanders play.
Nice. That's incredible. I mean, that's like
Yeah,
one of
it
the
was.
names you always remember from back in the day.
Oh yeah, like he retired when I was 5, so that's why I say I don't remember seeing him play, but I can say I saw him play.
Yeah, you're like I definitely have. Cool. So, do you have any like stories about being a fan of football or anything like that? Anything that you've
Uh,
done or crazy moments in your life?
for me personally, not with football. Like I stopped playing, when I was like 6 or 7.
Hmm.
But just in terms of being a Lions fan, like it
Yeah.
was Sundays were always Lions game day. Like we really wouldn't do much until the game was over. But
Hmm.
because in my like elementary, middle school kind of years, early to mid or early to like 2000, like 2008, 2009. Lions weren't that good. Let's see, the most wins from 2001 to 2009 they had were 7 in a season. So they
Yikes.
were not great during that time of my life.
Yeah.
Um,
Have they ever won a
yeah, go
Super
ahead.
Bowl?
Oh no,
No.
no, no.
Dang. Have they ever
We got
made it to the Super Bowl?
no. We
Oh
got
my gosh.
close in the 2023 season. We were in the NFC Championship game,
Okay.
but we blew the lead in that one. The second half, like we had a great first half, looked like
Mhm.
we were going to kind of breeze through the game, and then the second half we just collapsed.
Yeah. Dang, dude.
Um,
That's no good.
yeah, yeah. Speaking of not good, just another memory I got is the dreaded 2008 season where we went 0 and 16.
Oh my god.
First team in NFL history to go 0 and 16.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's you see the meme of like sports fans with like the bags on their heads. That's where that came from.
Oh my god, are you
People were
serious?
literally showing. Yeah, that's literally where people were showing up to games with like the eye holes cut out in the bag and like
Because they're
yeah, it was
embarrassed.
bad.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
0 and
Yeah.
16 is really, really, really bad. I mean, you're definitely not going to the playoffs.
Yeah. 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 Which the next or I should say, I still remember the last game of that season. We were playing against the Packers, and we actually had a decent chance at winning. I think we were up at one point during the game, but I think we ended up losing by like 7 or 10 points, something like that. But it was
Damn.
just that last hope of like the last game of the season. We're leading a bit. Like, come on, please, just let us get one.
And what happened?
Oh, they lost.
Shit.
Like I said, it was the winless season. So,
Yikes.
but obviously because like the way the NFL draft works is the worst record gets the first pick. So obviously we had the first pick, and
Yeah,
that's when
yeah.
we got Matthew Stafford, which
Oh yeah.
he was a great quarterback for us.
True. I know that guy.
Yeah, he so yeah, it was our first pick in the 2009 draft, and he might have one of my favorite moments in Lions history. There's a clip or that they have on NFL Films YouTube channel. It's 4.5 minutes straight of just unedited footage of this moment, but it was the game against the Cleveland Browns, and we were down 37-31 in the fourth quarter with 8 seconds left. They Stafford, he takes the ball, throws it, but after the play, like here I should say, at first he scrambles around a ton, just dodging people left and right, gets the throw off, and then just gets blasted with a nasty hit.
Damn.
He's on the ground, and you hear in the background of this clip that it was a pass interference in the end zone. So when that happens, it goes to the 1 yard line, and so even though time had expired, because there's a penalty in the end zone, it
They reset the clock.
goes to they reset and doesn't necessarily reset it, but they put it to 1 second. So basically, you just get one free play.
Right.
But because Stafford in that hit he took, he was laying on the ground for so long, and they took him to the sideline. And for whatever reason, I guess the Browns wanted to talk it out or whatever. They took a timeout.
Yeah.
Well, because it looked like Stafford had a shoulder injury.
Dang.
I don't think it was to his throwing arm, but I can't remember that for sure. But that timeout gave him enough time to go to the coaches and be like, I can throw it if you need me to. And I don't know if they let him back in the game or he just like
He
honestly
just
from the clip,
ran
from
on the
video,
field.
he just ran on the field and it's like, I'm doing this.
Fuck
And took the ball, 1 second left, threw the game winning or game tying touchdown, I should say. And then literally immediately after, you can see him like grabbing his shoulder and it's like, it's out, like running back to the sideline, like saying basically his shoulder like popped out of the socket.
Oh fuck, dude.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
And yeah, but it's one of those moments of like, because the Lions quarterback situation throughout the early time of my life has just been one quarterback after another. I don't think it was a new quarterback every season, but it definitely felt that way.
Yeah.
But with this, getting the number one quarterback, the number one pick and all that, and then seeing this win, like how gritty that was,
Yeah.
just like it was just that moment of like, that's my quarterback.
That's
Like,
tight.
and he was the Lions quarterback from 2009 to 2020.
Hmm.
When an interesting trade happened, very
Uh-oh.
infamous trade
Oh no.
where
Yeah, now
the
he's on the
Lions,
Rams, right?
yes, they traded. Or Stafford went to the Rams, and we got Jared Goff with 3 draft picks, which it really just kind of dumbfounded every Lions fan. Just like, why would we trade Stafford away? Like,
Yeah, like
dude's
that was
been
a
a
first round pick.
machine for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't make any sense.
and yeah, it didn't. So yeah,
Damn.
we're just kind of dumbfounded by that. Um, but clearly, as you can see from those stats,
Yeah,
like
look at
we had
this.
a great last season.
That's a great season. Yeah. I
Exactly.
mean, you had to have been in the
Yes.
playoffs. How far did they get?
We had a first round bye because we're the number one seed.
Hmm.
But we lost that first game against the
Yeah.
Commanders,
Fuck,
which
dude.
the big story of last season was just the sheer amount of injuries we had. I think at one
Oh
point
yeah, that'll do it.
we had like 20 some players on the injured reserve or out for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
18 of them were defensive players. So our
Oh my
defense was basically
god.
just,
Just getting
you
shredded.
know, literally, yeah. Like so many people were just saying like, oh yeah, next man up, next man up.
Ugh.
But what was crazy though is that like, because our offense was so good, we were averaging like 30 points a game, which is very high in the NFL.
Yeah, that's a lot of points, dude.
Yeah. So that's why our
It's insane.
defense, it's like was able to kind of give up some points, kind of have those mistakes
Yeah.
because our offense was scoring so well.
It's like when you're playing
Um,
like a
yeah.
game, right? And you're just tanking through damage because you're like, I got hella heals.
Mhm.
I could just keep healing myself. Just
Yep.
do that damage, right?
Yep. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was definitely an interesting season, but it's one of those like that playoff game kind of a lot of people like obviously we're hoping for the win, but like we kind of figured like with how many injuries we had, because I think at that point we still had like 14 people on the injured reserve list.
Yeah.
So, or they're out for that playoff game. So we kind of figured it's like, yeah, it wouldn't be shocked if we do end up losing because we have so many people out.
Hmm. Yeah. It's Jared Goff, huh?
But yeah,
This is your guy.
Jared Goff,
I
he is
mean,
our guy now. Yes.
but it seems
Yeah.
like he's
Like,
doing well if you guys are, over here averaging 30 points a fucking game. That's just
oh, yeah.
complete madness, dude. I mean, that's some of that
Yep.
special teams too, though.
Yeah. Yeah. We have had a couple good kickoff and punt returns, but the biggest thing I
Good shit.
think is because of our running game is
Oh,
David
yeah.
Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs, which I can't remember where they came up. I don't know if they just came up with it themselves or if it was somebody in the media, but nicknamed him Sonic and Knuckles because Jameer Gibbs is more of the speedster, the fast guy, but then
This guy.
David Montgomery is more the power. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay. So you need one to smash through the pins and then one to get
exactly,
slippery.
exactly.
Fuck
Yep.
yeah, that's tight.
So yeah, there's
Nice.
literally like
Look at
t-shirts
this
that people
guy.
like. Oh
This
yeah,
guy's
he's a
fucking
monster.
jacked, bro.
Yeah,
That's
5'11",
rad.
230. Yeah.
Woo. Yeah, don't start anything with that guy. Let's look at this.
Yeah.
This is the oh yeah, he looks lean.
Yep.
Number
Yeah, he is
0.
fast. He actually just changed that this season. Because he was 26 last season.
Dude, I like that. He seems cocky. Good shit.
Mhm.
I'm number 0
Yeah, this
because you don't
is-
see me. He's like trying to be like John Cena.
Yep. Yep.
That's cool.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Look at some of his
I guess
stats.
another-
Yards.
Oh, yeah.
139 yards versus the Vikings on your last game. That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because there was a few games where
Look at that
David
shit.
Montgomery was out, so he actually had to do a brunt of the work in the running back position. So
Oh, yeah.
he still held his own.
Look at that. 3 touchdowns in that game versus the Vikings. That's
Yup.
insane. Wow.
Yeah, so that game against the Vikings is actually really crazy because the Vikings were actually really well too. They were doing really well too. We both went into that game with 14 wins. It was the last
Wow.
game of the season. Winner of that game would be the number one seed. The loser, or the winner would be the number one seed at 15-2.
Hmm.
The loser would be the number 5 seed at 14-3.
Wow.
Which for a wild card seed, because that's the highest wild card spot, that is the highest record a wild card has ever had in the NFL.
Wow. That's
And
insane.
it was so bad that the Lions actually this past offseason, they actually went to like the, because I guess after every offseason, there's like an NFL owners meeting.
Hmm.
And, where they discuss like, potential rule changes and all that. And one that the Lions actually went with was potentially doing like a seeding based off of record rather than division winners. Because right now in the NFL, if people don't know, you have the 4 division winners, you are your top 4 seeds. And those are obviously
Yeah.
placed or by the record.
Right.
And then after that, it's just pure wild card. So basically just 5 seed is the best, the best record outside of those 4 division winners.
Right. Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
nuts.
it's just wild that a 14-3 team was the 5th seed in the playoffs. Like they had to play an away game and they lost that first round against, I think it was against the Rams actually.
It's rough. Damn. Against the
Yeah.
quarterback they lost. That's even more of an insult.
No, that the Vikings lost against the
Oh.
Rams.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah,
Good. Get
exactly.
those Vikings.
Yep. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, that's wild, dude.
Yeah.
It just has to be a battle, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like I said, Stafford, was my quarterback for most of my life, and even if you're not a football fan, I highly recommend going to watch that video because it
Yeah,
is
if you
just
can-
it's
Provide me that link and I'll put it in the description.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if I play it during our conversation, YouTube will claim
yeah.
the goddamn hell out of it because it's happened
Yep.
before. The WWE
Yeah.
also doesn't like me to do that.
Yeah, I can imagine the NFL is probably the same.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, no, you don't have the right to. You don't have the right, sir.
Yeah. Yep.
I was looking at your
But,
kicker from last season, dude, and in this Texans game right here, the 10th game, his farthest field goal made was 58 yards, and even the 2 games after that, 54 yards and 56 yards. This fool's
Yep.
just kicking shit from the middle of the of the field.
Oh yeah.
So,
What's even crazier? A year before then, he was a brick salesman. Wasn't even in the NFL.
brick salesman.
Yeah.
Jake Bates
Yep, down in Houston. Yep.
Let's look at
He
him.
was selling bricks. And he
Let me come here. Let me sell some bricks to you, baby.
yeah,
Come here.
basically, yeah. But he eventually got to the what was it? I think it's the UFL because he was playing with the Michigan Panthers, and he actually made like a 60-yard field goal at some point in that. But then the Lions signed him. Yeah. Oh yeah, this dude's got a leg on him.
Damn. That helps.
Yeah.
Michigan
so
Panthers, huh?
Yep.
Nice. Got to have that minor league team, right?
Yeah, it's not actually a minor league team. It's just a completely different football league altogether.
Oh, is it? So wait. What the fuck's a UFL then?
I got no clue. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'm gonna look into this as we
think-
continue.
Yeah, I think the UFL is kind of one of those like, oh, hey, people like football, so let's just give football during like the NFL offseason. I think it's kind of like the whole point of the UFL.
Oh, because they have June games.
Yep.
All right, you can watch it on Fox. What?
Yep.
Weird. ABC. Damn. I gotta look at. We gotta see what kind of teams we got here. But continue your story. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, he ended up coming in clutch because the kicker that we had last season, or I guess 2 seasons ago in the 2023 season, he had gotten injured during the off season and was basically out for the entire season. So we just needed to find a kicker because one thing with NFL teams, they don't really have a backup kicker because they usually have the punter, but the punter doesn't normally do like the extra points or the field goals unless they're just that good.
Right.
So that's where we signed Jake Bates, and dude was just he was struggling at first, and I remember like the preseason and all that. But Dan Campbell, which we needed to get to that guy at some point,
Mm,
because he's just
okay.
different. Like that coach is just awesome.
Cool. Cool.
But he just went up to Jake Bates and's like, "Hey, you're our guy." Like, so basically, in a nice way, he's basically just like figure it out.
Nice.
Um, but so after that point, he went on, just was making a bunch of field goals, and
Yeah.
in that Houston game, he actually made the game-winning field goal with like no time left.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's clutch.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. See, so like, don't never write. Like, always respect that special teams are important. Like, you need them. That's
Mm-hmm.
still a component of football. I mean, people think about the quarterback like they're the only player sometimes, and I think that's more of
Yep.
like, if you're not really into football, you're like, yeah, that guy throws the ball and then they catch it, you know. But it's like,
Yeah, the
no,
guy who touches the ball every play.
yeah. But then you have running backs, you have linesmen, you have special teams, you have defense. Like, all these people are
Mm.
needed, and they have to use their skills in different ways. And this kid is over here fucking just nailing them from almost 60 yards, dude. Like,
Yeah.
have you ever kicked a football before?
Yeah, not that good, but
No fucking way. 60 yards? That's like
yeah.
way further than 60 feet. I mean, how many miles is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna calculate it. But yeah, that's great. Yeah, so it seems like you have a pretty good roster. You guys are doing well. Like, you just gotta like not lose your first game in the playoffs, buddy.
Yep. Yeah. The thing that sucks about having such a good season like we did last season, we
Yeah.
lost both of our offensive and defensive coordinators to, to other teams who hire them to be their new head coach.
Wow. That's just
So
not fair.
yeah, between that and then we actually just lost our basically our all-star offensive lineman, the center. He kind of out of nowhere kind of just retired.
Mm,
This was actually just happened this past week.
dang.
Um, and he, came out and he was just saying, it's like, hey, I've got so many injuries, which he was drafted by the Lions in 2018.
Hmm.
So the center's name is Frank Ragnow. Um, and he just, I think from like the 2020 season on, he was just littered with injuries. Like
Dang.
2020, I think he had like a fractured throat, which I didn't even know the
What?
throat could get fractured.
Yeah, I feel like that would like kill you or something.
Right.
Jesus.
But yeah, and then this past season, I don't think he was ever out a game, but he had a torn pectoral and he still played through that.
Damn,
Like, dude is
ripping
just,
his pec muscles.
yeah, like
Jeez.
dude is just a monster definition of grit. Like he was just that guy for us.
Yeah, look, this
And
article
so,
says he came up to
yeah,
me early in the game and was very hoarse and kind of faint sounding. Was like, I can't really talk right now. I can't really talk, just to let you know. Just make sure you're communicating with everybody up front even more so than you normally would. It's like, that's when his throat got smashed.
yeah,
It's like,
yep,
really? That's the
yep.
conversation you have? You're like, I can't really talk good.
Hmm.
Not
Yeah, I
like
mean,
my throat is crushed. Like, that guy sounds like a
I
badass.
mean, yeah. I mean, in the middle of a game, you probably wouldn't, can't really look at it like that. So it's like, oh, I just can't talk,
Yeah.
something's,
Right. Yeah.
but yeah, dude was a
Wow.
workhorse for us. So losing that in the middle of the offseason really sucks.
Yeah, that does suck because now you're like, fuck, we're gonna need a new guy like this that can really like take the
Yep.
damage.
Yeah, we drafted a couple offensive linemen, but it's
Hmm.
like one of those where like it would have been kind of nice to know if this guy was retiring so we could kind of prepare for that a bit.
Yeah, the draft is now over, so yeah,
Yes.
might have to do a
So
trade or something. Who knows? I don't know.
yeah, free agency. I don't know, but
It seems
we still have a
stressful.
good offensive line. Yeah. It
Yeah.
definitely was, like I said, kind of just blindsided by it. But
Yeah.
he had a very long Instagram post about it, and it's like reading his description of it, or caption on it, it's like
Mm.
it makes total sense. Like, dude's just like, hey, I've gotten so many injuries, my body just can't do this anymore. It's
Yeah.
like, I get it, I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that way, and I'm not even an athlete. I'm like, man, I just oh man, I can't I don't know. I can't
Yep.
party like I used to. Like the thing that
Oh
I
yeah, I feel that.
that like we used to go to music festivals like every year, and then there was a year when I was like, this is night one and I'm destroyed. Like we had to take breaks. We had to sit down for a while, you know? And I'm like, I used to just
Yep.
go from stage to stage. I'm like, now I don't even want to go 3 days. I just have to pick one because I'm just too tired.
Yeah. Yep. Well, what's crazy about this Frank Ragnow situation? Like the dude's 29.
Mm,
Could you imagine retiring at 29?
wild. I know. It's like that's 10. That was 10 years ago. I'm not even
Yes.
close.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like,
Yeah, but you know,
I mean,
if they do
he's
things
getting paid
right,
hundreds of millions. Like, yeah,
yeah, you can invest and then you'll make passive income and then you could like
exactly.
have a little
Do all the ads and
business.
all that.
Yeah. You start selling like candles or something, I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, like
barbecue
everybody loves
rub.
having NFL sports or NFL players or former NFL players, I should say, promote their stuff. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. You just go from
just
football to like actor essentially.
basically, yeah.
Yeah. Like
Go to some
advertising.
studio for an afternoon, film a couple commercials,
Yep. You
get a
know,
nice little paycheck.
maybe like co-sponsor a car dealership or something like that,
Yep.
you know? Be like
Have a couple billboards.
that's what you do, man. That's how you retire
Yep.
in that industry. Um,
Yep.
it's hilarious. So let's talk about Dan Campbell. You said you want to bring him up, so let's talk a bit about him.
Yeah. Yeah. So he, again, in that 2021 uh, or 2020 off season between the 2020 and 2021 season, he was hired as our coach.
Hmm.
And um, he, what was I going to say? Lost my train of thought there for a sec. But he came on and had just a crazy initial press conference where uh, he had the famous quote, which I'm going to read. I took this note down because it's, if people have heard it, the biting kneecaps quote,
Hmm.
said this was in his first press conference as the Lions head coach. Said, we're going to kick you in the teeth, and when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you, and when you knock us down, we're going to get up, and on the way, we're going to bite a kneecap off. We're going to stand up, and it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. Like,
Dang.
this guy, like, he came in and almost immediately you could just tell there was a difference in that locker room, just the culture change.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he came in and just like they're definitely the Lions they're going to be gritty. They're going to like the definition of the Lions is going to be grit.
Hmm.
And from that season up until now, that's still been their kind of mantra. Like they have the
Nice.
big old grit sign like in their locker room and in their hallway, which is really cool. That season, first season he came on, the Lions were actually on HBO Hard Knocks,
Oh, nice.
which is basically you get to go in behind closed doors and like see like their training camp and see some speeches and all that. And so what was really cool
Sweet.
with that, we actually got to see Dan Campbell in that first season. He was did something that we haven't seen ever as Lions fans. Because for one thing, Dan Campbell, he was a former NFL player. He did
Okay.
play for the Lions way back when.
I always feel like that helps.
Exactly, yeah. But what was really cool though, as a coach, he was doing some of the exercises during training camp. Like he was doing the up downs right alongside the team,
Wow.
doing a bunch of these exercises, which spinned off kind of a meme of it had like was one of those like videos of like, kind of a comparison. It's like, oh, here's our head coach now, and then here's the head coach that we had previously. And the previous head coach, Matt Patricia,
Mhm.
there was like a picture of him in like one of those like little mopeds that like you see a lot of older people have, just sitting around or on the sideline during training camp.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's the
yeah,
opposite. He's like doing fucking exercises with them.
yeah, exactly. And it's just honestly, it's just crazy like how genuine this guy is, like Dan Campbell. Like he wears his heart on his sleeve, like cries in press conferences all the time just because he cares so much for this team.
Mhm.
And it is just so cool to have a coach like that.
That's the kind of
And
coach you want for sure.
exactly.
You want a coach that's inspiring the team and like there's not like a
Hmm.
bunch of clashes who, he's got their respect because he can jump down and do the exercises.
Hmm.
He's like motivating them well. That's that's
Yeah, and
that's
like I
the kind of
said,
shit you
just
want.
the biggest thing is just the culture change. Like,
Yeah.
Lions were kind of like most of my life either like a bad to a mid team at best. And,
Yeah,
he
you don't
came
want
in,
that.
that first season didn't do great. He only had 3 wins, but that's, kind of to be expected because that
Mhm.
first season you don't have a lot of your players that fit your scheme,
Yeah.
takes a couple years to kind of get the people you want drafted, the kind of players you want to fit that scheme.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas, what was it? 2022 they had 9 wins. 2023 they had 12 wins. And then last year they had 15. So
That's
they're on the up and
improvement.
up.
I mean,
Exactly.
they could be in the, they could go further in the playoffs next season. Who knows?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, we'll see because NFL did not do us any favors this offseason with the new
Yeah.
schedule.
Oh no.
We have the second hardest schedule of the NFL.
All right, let's see. 2025 NFL schedule.
Like I know we play the Chiefs, we play the Eagles. I think we play almost every playoff team.
Well, you get
I think those are
Chargers in
preseason.
preseason, yeah. You know, that'll be you can
Yeah.
mop the floor with them.
Yeah, I think you just want to look for the Lions schedule because I think that's just every team.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I'm just looking through it. Let's see.
Yeah,
Raiders
yeah.
game here. 49ers Raiders, Dolphins
Yeah.
Lions. All right. Not
Yeah,
too
that's
bad.
all preseason, so
Yep.
doesn't really matter.
Hey, preseason is how you test out some players. You need some good
That is true.
performance. You
That is
lost your
true.
lineman. It's good to
That is
pay
very
attention
true.
to see what how you're going to do in the real season. First game
That
of
is
the
true.
real season is Packers. I mean,
Yeah, that's interesting. Opening up against a division rival.
yep. That's going to be a game to watch for sure.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun
Yeah.
one. I don't know what's going on with the
Yep.
Packers anymore, honestly.
Yeah.
They got a different quarterback now.
Yeah, Jordan Love, he's okay. Like he's one of those people that like when he is on it, he is one of the best in the NFL. But man, he has some games where he just fumbles the ball.
Well, it seems like you
Literally,
have a
literally.
good, good.
Exactly. Yep.
It seems like you guys have a better quarterback and some good players,
Mhm.
good kicker, right? Just need to get that
Yes.
offensive line figured out. So we'll see.
Yeah. And
We'll have to
hopefully
see.
our defense doesn't get as injured as they did last season.
Oh yeah. Let's not
Which
have a broken throat, please.
yeah. Yeah. But
That's hilarious. All right, let's see what their actual schedule looks like.
yeah, so Packers, Bears.
All right, here we go. Packers, then Bears. I mean, are the Bears good these days? I feel like the Ravens
We
have
don't
been
know.
pretty good lately.
The Bears, I mean, they weren't great last season, but literally our offensive coordinator that helped our offense do so well. He's now their head coach, the Bears head coach.
Okay. That's kind of
And
scary.
a lot of people, oh yeah, for sure. And a lot of people, because Caleb Williams, the Bears quarterback,
Yeah.
he is a good quarterback, but it's just he was just poorly coached last season. So people are kind of thinking like, hey, with a good head coach that knows what he's doing,
Uh-huh.
he might actually like pop off this season.
Okay, so you're going to beat the Packers. That's one win. You could lose to the Bears. That's scary.
I don't think we'll lose, but yeah, Ravens, that's kind of a hit or miss
Yeah,
because
it could go either way.
the Lions have notoriously never been good against the running quarterbacks.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. See, I
Hence
mean,
why we lost against Washington in the playoffs because
oh, I
Jaden
see.
Daniels, he's a runner.
You just you just started sprinting. Um,
Yeah,
the Browns, I don't ever really hear about them, so I don't really know.
nah, yeah,
I think
no,
they'll get smoked. Bengals have been doing all right,
yeah, they're
so
one of
I don't
those
know.
kind of again kind of mid upper tier. Like
Yeah,
they have their moments, but they can also not have their moments.
true, true. We got the Chiefs, which is always like fuck. That's always a tough
Yeah.
game. You're probably gonna lose that
Yep.
one.
We
Sorry.
did we did beat them the last time we played them, which I can't remember if it was the beginning of last season or the season before.
Well, smoke them.
Granted, yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
Get them. Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah, we lost to them last season, but that was just because
They're kind of good. They're kind of good right now.
yeah, well, I said the reason we actually lost them because this is something people were actually noticing a lot is
Mhm.
that if Jared Goff threw for more than 50 throws in a game, we ended up losing because like I think the two games we ended up losing, he did throw for 50 plus yards or not
Mm,
yards, 50 plus throwing attempts
damn.
because we weren't running the ball as much. So they were anticipating the
Oh,
pass.
I see.
Whereas, most other games, he was in that like 25 to 35 range of,
Yeah,
passing attempts. And because we were running more than we were throwing.
nice.
So,
Yeah,
uh,
you got to mix it
Tampa,
up.
yeah, Tampa Bay, we just kind of got away from that. But after that Tampa Bay game, we went on to win 11 games in a row.
There you go. So could run it to victory there. And we got the
Yep.
Vikings,
Yeah.
Commanders. Hey, you just heard about that running quarterback, so could be rough.
Yeah, I think that'll be like one of those revenge kind of games where it's like, all right,
Yeah.
you beat us in the playoffs. We're gonna get you this time.
Yeah, Vikings have been pretty good lately, so that could be a battle.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I feel like that's another one of your rivals, right? I mean, same area
Yeah, they're a division rival. Yep.
for sure.
Yeah, so our division is Detroit, Green Bay, Chicago, and Minnesota.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. And you play them all. That's for sure.
Yep.
Um,
Play them all twice in a season. Then yeah, the Eagles. That's
Eagles, Giants, Packers again.
yeah, Giants. That's going to be a win. They're
Yeah, I think so.
probably the worst in the NFL.
Yeah, they are not doing well. Packers again. We already discussed. What about
Mhm.
the Cowboys?
Cowboys are going to be interesting because I mean we ended up. I think we destroyed them. Like I think we scored like 40 or 50 points on them last season.
Good
So
shit. Good shit. Rams
yeah,
will be a game to watch because of the
yes,
was his
the
name Stafford.
rivalry. Stafford. Yep.
Yep. So
Stafford and Goff. Like
that's gonna be one of those
it,
games. Oh, and it's in
yeah.
LA too, so it's gonna be real tough.
Yep. Yep.
Steelers, I tend to not like the Steelers or the Cowboys. So
hmm
I hope you beat them.
Yep. Yeah,
Uh,
Steelers are just that kind of real consistent team that right around the 500. It's
yeah,
like somehow make it to the playoffs every year
yeah,
just by the skin of their teeth. Like,
right. I don't know,
yeah.
man. I mean, because we did this episode, now I'll be paying attention to the
hmm
Lions 2025 season, so I'll be rooting for them. Also, I had a
Appreciate that.
friend that used to live in Detroit anyway, so
hmm
yeah, another friend, another different
Yeah.
friend.
Yep. Yep.
Cool. So let's just talk a little bit about football in general. Like,
Yeah.
if someone was like, was interested in watching football, or just like, hey, how do I become a fan? What do you think that? Would you give them advice? Like, what would you say?
Ooh. Honestly, the biggest thing I would say is probably just start watching games because that's for me. Like I knew obviously I was a Lions fan, but I really didn't start getting into football till I want to say maybe around like fourth or fifth grade because that was when I was actually kind of more conscious and like was able to more pay attention to like what's happening. Like, oh,
Yeah,
this is what this penalty means. This is what that means. Like,
yeah,
uh, yeah. So just honestly, a lot of it is just first of all just watching it, just kind of getting to know what it is
hmm
Um,
I think it also helps to have someone there like to explain stuff to you, or
oh, for sure.
right, like
Yeah.
maybe watch with a friend or family member and be like, hey,
Yeah.
what is that whistle? What did that ref just say? What the hell does that mean?
Yep.
That
Yep.
helps.
Yeah. And in terms of team, I guess just whatever you can watch because that's
Right. I mean,
I was,
coming from like Vegas where we didn't have a football team for a long time, like
mhm.
nothing wrong with just picking a team based on a player, or like, oh, this so and so reminds me of someone, or
Yep.
like you just like the colors or something, like
Literally, for the longest time, my sister, she says she was, I don't think she was really a fan, but like, she
yeah.
said she was a Titans fan because she just liked their colors.
Yeah, exactly. But then you get used, you get into the actual team and the players. You might
Yep.
swap one day. Who knows? I mean, it helps to have a team in your state, but if you don't, like, you just want to root for
Mm,
someone. If you're just watching it,
yeah.
it kind of like basketball. I guess you could just be a fan of players because it's more
Hmm.
in your face. Whereas the NFL, there's so many players and they're being swapped in and out like so
Yes.
much. There's certain star players too, but yeah, it's good to at least root for like a team in a game,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Also
And
at work,
oh yeah.
like fantasy football.
Yes. Fantasy football definitely helped me. Uh, and like I was just doing I remember when I was younger, I was just doing random leagues just to kind of get in the hang of, or, drafting and all that.
Hmm.
And one of my favorite things to do was just do like a 4 team league because then everybody's roster is just stacked.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. Um, when everyone has like only starters,
Yeah.
then it
Yeah.
just becomes crazy. It's like really high
Yeah.
point leagues are insane
Yeah. There was one
for
year
sure.
I was the commissioner of like our family league, which is just like, my immediate family, some cousins, aunt and uncle did it.
Nice.
And I made the mistake of having kick returns be a crazy amount of points. So like
Oh
just the
shit.
yardage of it. And so that led to a bunch of like running backs and receivers just getting an obscene amount of points.
Wow.
So yeah, instead of quarterbacks, being like mostly the higher scoring position, it
Yeah.
was like whoever was returning kickoffs because I had made that mistake.
Yeah. Being a commissioner for fantasy leagues is kind of intense, but there's
Mhm.
consequences to decisions and you can't really go back on them, without people
Yeah,
getting mad.
which I'm in a dynasty league right now, and yeah, that's one thing is just for those kind of leagues, just scheduling. When you have,
Right.
10 to 14 people in a league, and you gotta like, all right, what time works for everybody? What day works for everybody?
Yeah, draft night is intense. That is definitely like
Yep.
one of the hardest things to schedule in your entire life.
Oh yeah. And what was interesting, the way we did draft this past season was we kind of just did it throughout the day.
Okay.
Like, because I think we used Sleeper, I think is the app's name or the
Nice.
website. And yeah, so it would just send you a notification whenever it was your time. There was like no time limit or anything like that. It's not like, yeah, when you do it on ESPN, you have a minute and a half to decide who you want.
Yep.
Um, so I think we did that for like a day, but then it was one of those where I was like, all right, this is moving a bit too slow. So we all just like, all right, let's get together that night and just run through the rest of the draft.
Nice. Yeah, that's
I
cool.
think
I've never
that,
even heard that before. That's pretty
uh,
cool.
oh yeah, yeah, the Dynasty League was interesting. This is my first one that I've ever done. And at least last year, I think we got to keep 4 players. And I think 3 of mine ended up getting injured at some point during the season.
That's wild.
Yeah. I almost dropped one of my keepers from the previous year because it was the Ravens tight end. I can't
Yeah.
remember his name. Mark something, I can't remember. But normally he was one of the better tight ends in the league. Um but the first few games of the season he was just getting nothing. And there was a point where I'm like,
Sucks.
I'm just getting so close to just dropping this guy. Like not even just, trading away, but like just drop him because there was like 2 weeks in a row he got like legitimately 0 points each
Yeah,
game.
that's
I'm like,
horrible. That's
it's like I
horrible.
can't be starting you. Like this is costing me some games. Like,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
yeah.
sometimes those
So
like third string, players will just pop the fuck off in a game and they'll just keep like
yep,
handing it off to this running back that, someone was out because they were hurt and all of a sudden you have these points. Like there is a level
yep.
of gambling to it. Well, at least
Well,
gambling on to, players
yeah.
as you will.
Well, that's the thing. This wasn't a third string guy. This was their like
Oh
starting
yeah.
the Mark Andrews, was the tight end. Yeah.
Yeah,
One of
that's
the
why
best in the
it's
league.
even though it on paper is the guy, like it's sometimes better to start your other tight end that,
Yep.
right? Like that's part of the gamble of the game.
But it took a while, maybe about to the halfway point of the season, but then he then turned back to how he should have been the entire season.
Good.
So
Yeah.
really
Nice.
glad I didn't drop him, but might not be a keeper for me this year.
Yeah, Dynasty sounds crazy where it's just like the league never ends. It just keeps going and you know
Yeah,
what I mean? That's
which the
pretty chill.
draft for that was very interesting. Just
Uh
because basically your four keepers are your first 4 rounds, so
yeah.
a lot of those good players are already off the board. So, and with how deep our league is, I want to say there's 12 or 14 in our league.
Yeah, that's a
So
lot.
the rosters are very deep. So yeah, like you said, we're getting second, third stringers that barely play. So you have
Mhm.
to take a risk on some players. And by the time we get to some of those later rounds, that's when I just hit auto pick because it's like I don't know any of these guys anymore.
Yeah, I just try to like have at least one like multiple of each thing and then from there
Exactly.
on then
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, just whoever is next on the
I
list, man.
also I also try to have at least one Lions player on my team every year, but because a lot
Got
of us
to.
are in Michigan in this league, they
Oh,
usually get picked up pretty quick. So I
scooped
didn't
up
have any on
immediately.
my. Yeah, yeah.
And you're stuck and it's stuck that way forever because it's dynasty.
Not forever. No, like I said, we only have four keepers every year, so
Oh, okay.
four people that carry over to the next
Right.
season. So
So then there's still a chance you can get a Lions player every time. That's cool.
exactly. Yep.
Nice. Yeah.
A chance, but like I said,
Yeah.
very slim because a lot of us are from Michigan and Lions fans. So
Yeah, yeah. As long as you're earlier in the draft, you're like, I could get this player.
yeah, I was not so lucky. I think I was like the third or second to third to last pick. And
Mhm.
because NFL or draft, they do the snake style. So
Yeah.
like I would have two picks pretty close together, but then I would have like 20 picks before I got to pick again.
Yeah, exactly.
So like I
Um,
wouldn't even start paying attention to who was available before it started coming back around because like by the time
yeah,
I even start to look through people, it's like, oh,
they're
five of
gone.
them are already gone.
Exactly. It's like why even plan ahead? Just wait like
Yep.
until there's only a couple before you and then you're like, "All
Yep.
right, it could be maybe one of
Yep.
these. I need another
Exactly.
defense, fuck it, I'll just get this.
Yep. Yep.
Fantasy football, man. It's crazy. We're also doing the fantasy the game video game fantasy
Oh
critic
yeah,
thing,
critic. Yep.
which is a lot
Fancy
of
critic.
fun.
Yeah.
Fantasy sports. Also, a good way to get into stuff is doing fantasy, like we were just saying,
Yes.
just because you really start paying attention to players and teams and stuff, and you're like, oh, I need to watch this
Yep.
game. I need to win, and then yeah.
Or
So
you start paying more attention to the stats. I say
that
because
well with
that's
fantasy for sure, yeah,
yeah. Because and you
Mhm.
start paying more attention to just your team or
yeah,
more than just your team.
yeah. It's like all like now it's multiple teams because there's like players from all teams on your team, right?
Yep.
And then there's also Pigskin Pick'em. I don't know if you know about that or have ever done that before.
I've heard of it. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever done it before.
So my fiance's family does it every year. It's like we all put $20 in, whatever. Um,
Mhm.
and essentially you're just picking the winners based on a spread. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So even though you pick like this guy, you might be picking that he won't win, or that they won't win.
Mhm.
But they'll like only lose within a certain number of like
Okay.
touchdowns or points or whatever.
See,
That's kind of how it works.
my family, we do a kind of a version of that.
Yeah.
Same thing. We throw in, like, $20 for the season kind of
Yeah.
thing. but we don't necessarily we don't do the point spreads. We just do this
Yeah,
team or that team, which one's going
like
to
money
win.
line. Yeah, like just straight up
Yeah.
win or lose. Yeah, it's way
Yep.
more simple that way, and I wish we were fucking doing that. But it just has a little bit more
Mhm.
depth, and that's kind of fun, I guess.
Yeah, I would say the only time we do points is for typically it's the Monday night game or whatever the last game of the week is,
Oh,
and that's
okay.
just for a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Just total points for that game,
Hmm.
just in case people have the same amount of points right each week. That way, because we kind of have
Nice.
two different winners basically. We have like the person who gets the most points throughout the season, and then
Hmm.
the person who wins the most weeks.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that makes
So the
sense.
person who has the most points, they win overall. But then
Yeah.
basically whoever gets the most wins in the for the season, like for the weeks, they basically just get their money back. So
Nice.
kind
Yeah,
of they're kind of in the second place. But yeah.
the way that this one pays out is that there's an overall winner, but every week the winner gets like a little bit of money,
Hmm.
So it's like same kind, almost same kind of thing. It's a little
Exactly.
different.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been doing
Interesting.
that as long as I can remember because
Yeah.
it's literally just you just circle the team like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So I
just
don't
a
know how
chill. It's a fun thing to do,
exactly.
So,
Yeah, I don't know
but
how many times my dad's texted me, 12:45, like, hey, I need your picks. Like, oh crap. Completely forgot. Now that I'm
yeah,
not at the house and don't see the sheet in front of me.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we use like I think it's ESPN. Like they have like a thing for it, and so we
Mhm.
just go through a
Oh yeah.
website and
No,
keep it simple.
my dad, he literally prints out the sheets,
Yeah,
circles them for all of us, highlights the winners.
that's
Like,
nerding out. See, that's really nerding out.
yeah. Yeah. Like I said, we've been doing that as long as I
That's
can
awesome.
remember.
That's
Like
fun, man. I mean,
first, second grade. Yeah.
I mean, we like to play video games. Some people want to fill out a
Exactly.
graph paper and like, a sheet about games, whatever. So
Yeah.
we all have our things. That's the point of the
Exactly.
show. Yeah.
Yep.
So I would say that probably both agree that those are some good ways to get into football. I mean, if you're
Oh
already
yeah.
into football, again, just remember like rooting for someone is better than just blankly staring at a game that you don't have any investment in. So that's the best
Yeah.
way.
The other way investment, my friend of mine recently taught, or I was not recently, in the last year and a half, 2 years, is sports betting.
Yes,
Game that
obviously.
you don't care whatever about. Just put
Hmm.
put like 50-cent bet in on something.
Yeah. Yeah, even a dollar or whatever. I mean, some
Exactly.
always do it responsibly. I mean, I'm from
Oh, of course,
Vegas,
yes.
and responsible gaming is the important thing. But I don't ever see anything wrong with gambling. You just have to fucking control yourself. Keep
Yep.
like don't bet too much. Don't be betting to make money. Be betting just to have fun. You know what I'm saying? And if you make
Exactly.
money, you make money. That's I think. Gambling should be seen as like a fun thing, not as like
Yes.
a return on investment. It's not like investing. It's not like working. You know what I'm saying? So just
Yep.
remember that, and then you won't get addicted. I promise.
And again, that's why I do like, 50-cent bets, just little
Yeah.
amounts, but
Right.
just enough to make the game more interesting than me just, oh yeah, let's
Right.
just go to Buffalo Wild Wings and watch football.
Exactly. And that's what we end up doing too because of the pigskin pick'em thing we do. We're like, oh, you want to watch a game? I have a couple teams playing. I want to, so and so to win, whatever.
Mhm. Yep.
So yeah, football, man, it's great. Hockey's great too.
Ye-
We're
Yep.
not we're not doing a hockey episode, but I just wanted to shout out some my team over here.
Yep.
Our season is over. It is what it is.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Same with football.
Good
It's in
shit.
that dry period between the draft and the preseason.
It'll be soon enough, man. End of July is preseason, and we'll be right back
Hmm.
into it. It's already June 7th, the day of my Switch 2 is when we recorded this, by the way. I mean, you're probably if you're listening to this in the future on YouTube, it's probably like June 20th, maybe something like that. But just remember, and in fact, future you on the Friday we post this, you're that much fucking closer to football. Okay, just remember
Exactly.
that.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome, man. Well, is there anything else you want to say about football or Detroit Lions?
Um, I would say, I mean, just one story I didn't get to mention is that
Mhm.
one of the Lions' other Hall of Fame players is Calvin Johnson, or his nickname Megatron, just because this dude was a monster. Like, just stature wise. He was one of those players that he could just go up, jump up, and grab any ball that Stafford threw to him.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Wow.
in 2012, I was actually at the game where he broke the single season receiving yards record.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was so cool being there for that. What was actually really cool too is Jerry Rice, the previous holder of that record. He actually had because he was going to be at the game the following week because he just based off of like his stats and how much Calvin was averaging that season. They knew for sure he was going to break it that next game,
Crazy.
but he went had a great game. The game that I was at and ended up breaking it. So he actually had Jerry Rice had a little pre-recorded message for him congratulating him on breaking
Oh,
the
that's
record.
amazing.
Yeah. And what was really cool is because it was just my dad and I there. It was a Saturday night game. And the guy next to us, he had like, just the, crazy professional like camera. You see the, journalists, photographers have kind of thing, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we were in the, second, third, upper deck kind of, pretty high up there. But obviously if they had a camera like that, like we were like first or second row. So he was able to get some amazing pictures. And I remember,
Sweet.
just asking him like, hey, you mind sending me some of those pictures? Just, and yeah, so I gave him my email. He sent me those pictures after, later that week. And there were all amazing pictures. If I'll have to see if I can find them. They're somewhere on my Facebook page.
Oh, nice.
From way back when.
Yeah, you'll have to send me those. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, but they're, like I said, the dude had just, one of those giant cameras. He left pretty early on in the game because, Lions weren't doing great. They ended up losing, but but yeah, I was at the game where he broke that record, which is really cool.
That's awesome. So you were there. Historic moment. And you got to see the Jerry Rice video, I'm sure, live.
Yep.
Which is cool.
Yep.
Nice. Moment in history. Alec Bobko.
Yes.
Badass, bro. I want to open up the floor for you to talk to us a little bit about what you do, where people can find you online, and what's next for you in terms of any of that content stuff.
Yeah. So, like I said, kind of in the break of doing content, normally you can find me over on shared screens. We've been taking a bit of a hiatus there just because, life finds a way to just life and do things. But if we end up popping back up there, you can find me there. Otherwise, you can find me, just search Alec Bobko. That's pretty much my handle everywhere. I do have a YouTube channel that I post to occasionally. Like recently, past few weeks, I actually just went through gastric sleeve surgery. So I've been of chronicling my time with that. Had that surgery on May 19th and just had my follow-up appointment this past, it was a Switch launch day, June 5th.
Nice.
And I'm down 30 pounds since
good
then.
Shit.
So
nice. Congratulations, dude.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, that's
awesome.
It's
just the beginning.
Exactly. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. So just kind of popping some videos on there every now and then, just kind of chronicling my journey through that weight loss journey.
Yeah. And that's on YouTube.
Yes. Same thing. Just Alec Bobko.
Something like this.
YouTube and Blue Sky is kind of the two main platforms.
All right. Sweet. And then we'll have links to those in the description below as well. Check him out there. Make sure to follow him on everything. Check out his weight loss journey and then his eventual return to shared screens and whatever it is he feels like doing in the future, even if it's, just hanging out and talking to you, vlogging.
Just
I don't know.
Yeah. Just lurking on the internet.
Gaming?
You can find me.
Gaming?
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
Some video.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah. We're about. All right, did you get a Nintendo Switch too or no?
I did get one. Got one on launch
Do you have
day.
it?
I do.
All right.
Like I said, I picked mine up from Best Buy.
I think
midnight.
do I have your friend code? I think I have your friend code, right?
I think yeah. I put it in the
filled it out
spreadsheet. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. I can't wait. We're gonna have to play some Mario Kart World.
Oh, for sure.
Remember, this is in the
already
past.
unlocked the special cup.
Oh, that's incredible. This is in the past,
It's
so we've
good.
already been doing that shit.
Exactly.
So you know.
Yes.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
That's future us. Yeah.
That's future us. Yeah. Um, awesome. Thanks, man. I really appreciate you being on the show, talking, nerding out about your favorites frickin' NFL team. Just like I said, we would. I'm sure you don't have a lot of outlets to talk about this. Aside, you're just talking about video games on the internet, so it's always fun to like switch gears, talk about something different, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's I, don't normally get to talk about sports like this, so it was nice just to get to let it all out.
There you go. That's kind of the whole point of the show. Is like being nerdy isn't just manga. It's not just video games. Like,
Yep.
you can fucking get really nerd. Like Knights, man. I could do.
Oh,
I could
yeah.
nerd out on Knights, Detroit Lions. I mean, there's like NFL like fans so fucking nerdy. They're like, well,
yeah.
3 seasons ago we had this record and he ran for this many
Yep.
yards. I'm like,
Yep.
that's nerdy as hell. So it's kind of the whole point.
They love
The
their
show.
stats.
God loves stats. And remember, if you're nerding out yourself out there, hit us up in the comments below. Let us know what the hell it is you're into. We could do an episode on something related to that topic in the future. Have more awesome guests lined up to talk about a variety of things. Again, Alec Bobko, thank you so much for being here. I had a blast talking to you about football. Now I'm like, fuck. Now I want to watch football. I have to wait.
Right.
I mean, I could go
Hey,
to
UFL.
True, I could check out the UFL. There's no teams in the Southwest, but let's make that happen. Hello, come on,
Yeah.
XFL, get some teams down here.
Yeah.
Come on, it's just like the middle of the US. I was looking at it while we were talking. But hey, that's fine.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, man. And I'm sure we'll see you in the future. And remember, you are watching the show on youtube.com/@neon pocket dimension. We also stream live Wednesdays and Thursdays and Tuesdays sometimes on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/neon pocket dimension. We also have our video game channel, youtube.com/@neon gaming dimension. We're about to cover Steam Next Fest. Every Next Fest, I try to play as many demos as I can. I think last time I did like 85. So let's see if I can get to 90 this time. Yeah. So yeah, I don't
thought
fuck
I did
around.
a lot, but
No, I don't fuck around. I'm carving a niche on the internet as the guy who goes completely insane and plays at least almost 20 demos a night. So I'm gonna do it again. It's gonna kill me. But it's a lot of fun. So look forward to that content next week. Also, we're obviously covering Summer Games Fest. That's also on the Neon Gaming Dimension channel. And Odd Valley Tavern will be back this month on the 27th, June 27th. That's still in the future. So make sure to watch that. Just look it up. Google Odd Valley Tavern. That's enough for me, and that's enough from us. Alec Bobko, @Alec Bobko. Follow this man and tell him what's up. And talk some shit, because that's how NFL player fans are. Be like,
come at me.
Come at him. He's ready to battle. But
Find me everywhere. I'm all over the place.
I'm gonna say goodbye to you for today, though, buddy. Come on back. We could do more content in the future if you ever feel so
anytime.
inclined. But for today, we're gonna say goodbye.